into something positive and maybe it'll spread.
He's the most positive person on his job.
Now you're cured.
I feel good.
Good morning and welcome to Positively Milwaukee. I am excited to tell you about a new movie filmed right here in Wisconsin. It stars Wisconsin actors, and a local woman not only wrote it and produced it, she also stars in it.
You can work hard, but you can always work harder.
Wisconsin takes center stage and Mags and Julie go on a road trip. Written, produced, and directed by 40-year-old Ryan Liebel. She also stars in the film as Mags.
I'm a little burnt out.
When was the last time you had a vacation?
Your wedding 4 years ago when we went skiing.
6 years ago.
Mags and Julie is about two best friends. They haven't really spent much time together. My character, Mags, works a lot and maybe too much. And her friend, Julie, who is very bohemian and loves everybody and has a perfect marriage. Anyone who has ever worked for a horrible boss, anyone who has had things come up in their life that have been disasters and they've looked back on it and they've laughed because it was so ridiculous.
My grandfather left you a cabin in his will.
Cabin?
This is really for everyone. It's a family-friendly comedy.
Not only are you a young actress, but you're a producer, director, and writer. I mean, what can't you do, can I ask?
Before Liebel left for the bright lights of L.A., her talent was honed here.
I grew up in Cedarburg, Grafton. We were in Thiensville for a little bit, and then Mequon for a time. And then a bit of middle school and high school was Bayside. I was at Nicolay High School in Glendale. I had a great theater teacher there. I did some professional theater in Milwaukee, the Skylight Theater, did some stuff with the Rep. And then by the time I was 18, I went to USC in Los Angeles.
After majoring in theater, the actress landed jobs with Hollywood notables.
I worked with Dennis Farina years ago before he passed away, Tori Spelling, Zach Galifianakis. I worked with John Travolta. I did something with him that was super fun for his Be Cool movie. That was really fun. He was really lovely and took the time to say hello to me, and which I thought was really nice.
Ryan was young when she saw the impact films could have.
The reason I started acting was because I had been highly influenced by movies when I was growing up. Movies that sort of showed me a viewpoint that I didn't have before. Showed me a world that I hadn't known existed.
Liebel, her musician husband, and son are like nomads. Her work with her production company, REL, takes her all over the country.
We're hardcore artists.
But extensive travel has not paved over her Wisconsin roots.
I wanted to highlight all of the beauty about Wisconsin, all of the characters who are here, and the kind of humor, too, which I think is pretty universal humor, which is that, I don't know, funny Wisconsin humor, right?
Yeah, a little self-deprecating, but it's honest.
Mags and Julie Go on a Road Trip was filmed entirely in Wisconsin and features Wisconsin actors.
Who would have thought I'd be in a movie, at 65?
I wanted to do something that really highlighted Wisconsin in an interesting way. And as you know, we don't see Wisconsin on camera that often. It's not that typical. And to me, it's such a beautiful state full of such great people that I think it's nice to sort of show it, in a cinematic way, because I think people in Wisconsin take Wisconsin for granted.
You are absolutely correct.
The tire blew. There's no spare tire. Hey!
I'm Julie.
And Ryan Liebel wants her movies to leave people with positive messages, feeling a little better about the world in which we live.
I'm a firm believer in stories that have some sort of moral compass. I think that's something that kind of is lacking,
I love that. I think it's very important. I really do, especially for our young kids.
I'm a huge believer that if you're going to make a movie, leave people better than you found them, So when they walk out of the movie theater or they've just watched your movie, they feel better about life. They have a little bit of hope.
Are you excited about vacation?
Ah, yes, Hope. And one of the other main characters in the movie is Wes Tank. Now, we have also featured him on Positively Milwaukee for his Dr. Seuss and Story Raps videos.
I think it's like it's a really good family-friendly film.
And you might have noticed also in the movie, Milwaukee native and former executive director for Mad Hot Ballroom, Deborah Ferris. She was also featured on Positively Milwaukee. This film is available for pre-order on iTunes, Apple.com. The movie will be on all streaming services and Redbox November 24th. So I think Wisconsinites, we will love to see that. A River West restaurant came up with the idea to hand out free meals this Thanksgiving. Neighborhood businesses answered the call to help, and now they're giving away 500 meals. Here's Delaney Bry.
6 years ago, River West Pizza was just a random idea.
My better half, Andrea Haas, came home one day and said, I think we're going to start a restaurant. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Now it's a staple in the community.
That's exactly what River West needs, like something this positive, but it's still named after the neighborhood, and you come inside and you still get names like the Will or the Fratney or the Dousman.
With pizzas that feature anything from pepperoni to duck, the goal for owners Todd and Andrea was to reflect the diversity of the city they love.
A lot of personalities, a lot of fun and dynamic people in the neighborhood. You never know who you're going to wander into that might be showing up, the connections we made, the friends that we've made here in the last 6 years.
Now with Thanksgiving around the corner, Andrea had another idea. One she had to run by her cooks first, because the idea was 100 free Turkey Day meals.
Mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing.
Yeah, we were sitting here and it was just a conversation one day. We're all like, yeah, that's a great idea. The next time it was like, well, we got 200 now. Then the next day it was 300, and then a few hours later it was like, all right, we're doing 500 meals.
With Greco and Sons backing the first 100 meals.
Blown away. I mean, honestly, I say that with the most sincerity I can express.
As word spread, everyone from Shorewood Great Clips to Root River Realty wanted to help out.
Our friend Tisha, who works for Masterlock, David Manio, who's a huge River West person. Not only did he donate 100 meals, but he also donated $1,000 to the River West Food Pantry. That's huge.
Prepared to serve 500 dinners to anyone who needs it.
If you need the meal and you're financially not in a position, please come share with us. If you're home alone and can't get to friends and family, stop by and grab some food and maybe just help bring some normalcy.
The team at River West Pizza is looking forward to handing you a meal this Thanksgiving.
It's our community, and we gotta try to keep it, especially now, we gotta keep everything together and help each other out. So this is like probably the best feeling that we can have right now.
Paired with a side of love that is Positively Milwaukee.
Milwaukee is a city filled with incredible people that when you need them, everyone comes out of the woodwork, and I love our city.
Ah, isn't that nice to hear? Thank you, Delaney. River West Pizza is located at the corner of Wheel and Wright Streets. The meals will be available to anyone and will include the traditional Thanksgiving dinner items. Curbside pickup begins at 11 a.m. Thursday and will continue until they're all handed out. And as you know, the need for food is great. Back in August, we went to a Milwaukee backyard food pantry. And now 2 months later, it has really taken off. Here's James Groh.
You're not going to believe this when I tell you, but this kitchen is actually a backyard food pantry in Milwaukee, and it has grown incredibly in the past couple of months.
People are desperate to pitch in. That's what happened.
Emma Toth can't believe this community food sharing site she started behind her house has grown into a staple of the Sherman Park neighborhood.
If I go inside for 5 minutes, I come out to a new donation or an empty shelf. It's constant, and that goes all the way through the night.
It's called Food is Free MKE, and it's located at the corner of 56th and Townsend. We visited back in August, and since then she has blown up. Around 6 to 10 people from the city of Milwaukee and beyond come every hour for drop-off or pickup. They have a microwave, 2 packed fridges, and this kitchen counter with drawers filled with food.
It wouldn't be nearly as successful if this wasn't my backyard.
Beyond increased donations, it was one of her neighbors who built this shed.
I built it strong enough so there'll be a garden on top of this roof come spring.
Now the plan is to weatherize the pantry and expand into other parts of town.
Thank you, James. Again, this food pantry is at the corner of 56th and Townsend. And if you'd like to donate 2 items that they always need, soup and fresh produce. Coming up, he spent 2 years in the Army and 35 years as a mail carrier. And what he did during the last 4 years of his life left an indelible mark. You're watching TMJ4's Positively Milwaukee. Welcome back. This will be the first Thanksgiving a Sheboygan Falls family will have without their father. Jim Herbert was a veteran who died of COVID-19 earlier this month. But Adriana Mendez reports warm memories keep his legacy alive.
Jim Herbert was an Army veteran who passed away from COVID-19 complications on November 3rd. It was here at this hospice center in Sheboygan Falls where he gave his time selflessly to make sure others felt at ease during the final days of their lives. Honoring the life of a veteran, to Jim Herbert's daughter, Shannon Agonosovic. She remembers the years her father dedicated to serving others.
Whenever there was a need, he was the first to volunteer without hesitation.
Jim served in the Army from 1966 to 1968.
He was very proud of his service. We always had an American flag hanging outside our yard.
After the Army, he spent 35 years as a mail carrier. But it's what he did during his last 4 years that impacted the lives of so many.
He would spend time with patients who were towards the end of their lives.
Jim was a volunteer at Sharon Richardson Community Hospice, where he served as a No One Dies Alone volunteer. Jim also volunteered with the We Honor Veterans program, participating in more than 150 pinning ceremonies.
Which is a ceremony that honors veterans in their last days and hours with their families.
Eric Tetzloff is the administrator of the Sharon Richardson Community Hospice Center. He says Jim was the type of volunteer always willing to selflessly give.
I think that Jim really put other people first, and that really what made him special.
My brother and my sister and I, we're all very proud. I'm really proud of him. I'm really proud of I just feel very fortunate that to have a father like that.
It's that willingness to put others first that Jim will be remembered for. And although COVID-19 took this veteran far too soon, loved ones and friends say there's so much we can learn from the life he lived.
You don't know how quickly things can change, and to love those around you, let them know how you feel about them.
We need to remember that. Jim's daughter says they don't know where he contracted COVID-19, and she says her dad did not have any underlying health conditions. Jim Herbert was 74 years old. The Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign now underway, and since the pandemic has dealt a serious blow to many families, the 155-year-old agency is ready to feed hundreds more this year. Julia Fellow has that story.
This is what Thanksgiving is going to look like for hundreds of families in need who are going to come to the Salvation Army of Waukesha County. Instead of getting their meal and eating it inside, they're going to come to this pickup window and get their meals to go. Leaders say this is not ideal, but it's what they need to do to make sure everyone stays safe as the need continues to grow.
13 days from Thanksgiving, Major Terry Nada had to make one of the toughest decisions. Instead of serving families with a sit-down dinner,
it will be in a styrofoam to-go box. There is probably 15% that don't have homes, so they're going to be forced to eat outside.
Despite that, they expect at least 200 families to line up for a semblance of this holiday. That would be a 25% jump from last year.
The need is that high. A lot of people are out of work or can't find new jobs, were laid off because of COVID, or are not working because their children are in school, and school's so different.
That, coupled with the added $600 unemployment benefits disappearing, has her seeing new people lining up at their food pantry. The Red Kettle campaign, their biggest fundraiser of the year, could not have come at a better time. But Major Nada is still nervous.
We're a little concerned about traffic at stores because traffic's been down. Foot traffic's been down. And are people going to have cash on them?
With their postal food drive canceled this past May because of the pandemic, they're holding on to faith warm hearts will come through.
I think they will. The Salvation Army of Waukesha County will pass out Thanksgiving meals from 11:30 to 1 p.m. When you think of a firefighter, do you think of a male Up next, meet Milwaukee women shattering the glass ceiling when it comes to gender stereotypes. Welcome back. There are unsung heroes all across Southeast Wisconsin, and the TMJ4 Positively Milwaukee Awards is one way we can shine the spotlight on them. One of this year's winners is Dan Van Buskirk. He's a veteran who co-founded Guitars for Veterans.
He has devoted his entire adult life to helping people up who have fallen in some manner, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually.
And that is why Dan Van Buskirk is just one of our amazing Positively Milwaukee Award winners. And you're going to see more of these winners this Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on TMJ4, an inspiring, emotional, positive hour of television that you do not want to miss. More women are interested in joining the Milwaukee Fire Department's cadet program than ever before. Adriana Mendez tells us why female cadets want to break the mold.
15 ladies are part of the Milwaukee Fire Department cadet program. They say they chose this career to challenge themselves and to prove that they are just as strong as anybody else. Creating a better life for her family. That's the reason why Sakura Zhang joined the Milwaukee Fire Department cadet program.
I have a 4-year-old son. His name is Eli, and then I just want to have like a good, successful future.
She has been in the program for more than a year and says it has its challenges, but every day she's feeling inspired and empowered to be a part of a male-dominated field.
I know I can provide for my family. I wouldn't have to worry about finding a job in the future when this is already pretty much set for me.
According to the National Fire Protection Association, 4% of career firefighters nationwide are female. The Milwaukee Fire Department reports 5% of its firefighters are women. But in the cadet program, about a third of their class size is female.
As you can see, we're doing our best to try to increase those numbers on our fire department.
The cadet program is a 2-year paid apprenticeship for young adults ages 17 to 19 years old. Michael Ball with the Milwaukee Fire Department says they are actively working on recruiting more women to be a part of their team. He says the more diversity they have, the better it makes the department overall.
It certainly is a male-dominated career. We're trying our best to change that.
Each of these ladies proving they are strong, powerful women. They say they are passionate about this career and hope other women are inspired too.
This shows like there's no reason for it to be male-dominated. We can all do it. It's important to push yourself into new dynamics and different relations with people.
And the Milwaukee Fire Department is accepting applications for the 2021 cadet program. The deadline to apply is December 2nd. A restaurant group is giving us a reason to smile because it handed out free brunch to healthcare workers. The Lowlands group gave out dozens of free meals to those putting in those long hours because of the pandemic. And that meant a lot to Dr. Paul Otto, who's pulling 80 hours a week.
Pretty crazy. The hospital's getting full. It's really important that we continue to do the things to make sure that we're keeping everyone safe, but there are a lot of good people working on the front lines to try and keep everyone healthy.
The Lowlands group hopes to do this again, and they say healthcare workers should monitor their social media pages for updates. Well, people who love to bake answered the call. They all lined up to get their We Energies cookbook. The 92nd annual cookie book now out. Now people had to stay in their cars and wear masks as they got a copy of the popular cookbooks. But inside, dozens of recipes for holiday treats.
A lot of people will tell us about cookie books that they've had in their family for years, and this is something that they would not want to miss at all, and miss a chance to be able to continue that tradition.
Now, if you did miss out in the drive-thru, don't worry. We Energies is going to have more, or you can also find the book online. Well, for a year that has been full of unknowns and challenges, this Thanksgiving, I'm more thankful than ever for good health and a loving family. And we asked my colleagues what they're grateful for. Here's some of their responses.
Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Shamraz, one of the anchors here at TMJ4 News. And this year, I am thankful for everybody who is doing the hard part to make sure we get through this as safely as we can. If you are staying home when you want to go out, if you are wearing a mask despite the fact that they can be uncomfortable at times, thank you so much for making it so much easier on the healthcare workers who are doing so much to try and keep us safe. The more we do the right thing, the easier it is for them to help the people who really need it. So again, thank you to everybody out there doing the right thing in a year that is a lot tougher than any of us ever imagined.
Hi, I'm Storm Team 4 meteorologist Kristen Kershane. This Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for all of my great coworkers here at TMJ4 News, for my family's good health during this time, and for all the great restaurants providing takeout food. And I'm grateful that there are so many good books that have been keeping me entertained over these last few months while I've been working to stay at home to help flatten the curve. Happy Thanksgiving.
Hi, I'm Vince Petrano, anchor of TMJ4 News Today. This is my wife, Nicole. We are grateful for Ella, Max, and Olivia. And I'm also thankful for the opportunity to bring you the news for the last 20 years.
Hi, I'm Tom Durian with TMJ4 News, getting ready for a newscast here in my home. I'm thankful this year for the health of my family and friends and coworkers. Also, all those frontline workers that have been working so hard since this pandemic began. And also thankful for you, the viewers out there who have let us into your homes over this year to tell you the stories in what has been an incredibly difficult 2020.
Hi, I'm Katie Crowther, a reporter and anchor here, and I am most thankful for these two guys right here, my husband and baby, both named Carlos, and this is this little guy's very first Thanksgiving. Wow! So we want to wish you all a happy and healthy holiday season.
Oh, thank you, Katie. I think Carlos wins the thankful tributes. I'm going to be back with my quote of the week. Well, you know, each week I love to leave you with an inspirational message, and today's comes from civil rights pioneer Frederick Douglass. He said, "It's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Think about that, and thank you for watching. Have a good week. Stay positively Milwaukee.